What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Warehouse Series. So today we're going to be talking about more of your Discord pictures. Why do I like doing this? Is because it makes it personal. This is what this channel is basically about, is helping you guys out. So when you send me your pictures on Discord, for you to see your product on here and me tell you what I would do differently, I just feel like it's helping people out, and I've been getting good responses for it. So we're just going to keep pushing forward with it. This picture right here I talked about in a previous video. I just threw it up there real quick, but we're going to go over this palette real quick and what I would do differently. First, I want to say that great job on keeping it square. I think that is one of the most important things that you need to focus on when building a pallet, is that you don't have any cases hanging off the side of the pallet, and you do not. You did a great job at keeping this pallet square. That is definitely a big accomplishment, so your pallet does not look that bad. So we're going to go right to these yellow arrows pointing to the cases in the middle. Your bottom case looks like it's glass, and I don't know what's on top of that, maybe some salt and pepper shakers, and then we got a brown box. Now, sometime in those brown boxes, we do have glass in them too. I like to refrain from putting cases on their side when possible, and when I do, I like no pressure being on them. So your bottom case of jars that you have two cases on top of them, so you have direct pressure on them. It's going to be enough that it could possibly break those jars or pop the contents out the side of the plastic that's holding that packaging together. So we do want to refrain from doing this. So try not to put jars, especially any type of liquid, glass, or anything like that on their side. Same picture, just different markings. So with that being said, I talked about on the previous video that I put this out on my 3 tips, that when you have a long case coming towards the middle, you want the next case is going back. Now, my 4 red dots over there are cases that you have facing the direction that I'm talking about. And my red slashes, I really truly believe that your pickles over here and over here, we would have been level. Now, you're almost level right there at this point. So anytime you get a level front, you want to try to tie them in as much as possible. So with that being said, let's go to another picture. Also yours, where the yellow arrow is pointing to that case that you have bridged between 2 cases. I get it. You're trying to tie into that part of the, between the 2, but it's a small case. And when you put a small case barely touching both sides of those cases, it has a chance to fall into the gap that I got my green arrow at. What I would have done is where the green dot's at, I would have actually stood that case upright, and I would have leaned it over towards your right column that you have there. I would have put it right snug right over, and I would have took that, where my green arrow is, I would have dropped that case right down into that gap. And then I would probably try to squeeze another salad dressing right beside it. So I try to keep cases upright as much as possible. I always say every time you turn a case on its side, you're making it easier to stack. I try to keep cases upright as much as I possibly can. I would say I either have 0 cases on their side or maybe under 5 whenever I do a pallet. I don't do it often. I just think when you keep cases upright, you just naturally build better. So try keeping your cases upright. The slip sheets, once again, your slip sheet's fine because you're topping your pallet off. Just remember, whenever you do a slip sheet, your front salad dressings here look like it's a little bit over the edge of where your pallet is. It sort of gives you a false sense of where your edge is, and you tend to go out over where your case is. So you'll have a case, slip sheet, and then you'll stack a case out here towards the end of the slip sheet. So just be careful when you're using slip sheets that you're not taking it past the perimeter of your pallet. So with that being said, let's get to the next one. All right, guys, this one right here, nice pallet. Once again, nice and square, nice pallet. Staying within the confines of the pallet is literally step 1. If you're not doing that, then you're not even going to have anything that remotely looks close. The only thing I would have done different here is my yellow slashes on the right side. You have a tower of small cases. Now, the reason why this pallet probably did not fall over is because your base is phenomenal. That's like step 2, right? You want to stay within the confines of the pallet, and you want that strong base. You have a strong base. So the reason why I'm pointing this out is because I still think it's a bad habit to get into. Small cases going up the right side. So we got that small skinny column, and my 4 dots in the middle, you're putting those cases in the part of the pallet that I don't like. I don't like stacking long cases in the middle because it forces you to have a small corner, and you're proving that point right here. All those orange dots I would have had on my corner facing in, and all your yellow, the cases on the corner, I would have had in the middle facing back. I like facing cases in from the corner and my middle section back, and that's what I would have done here. I would have took all those cases, there's 4 orange dots, 4 orange dots, and I would have slid them all the way to the corner. They would have made a nice strong corner. Bigger cases on the corner, smaller cases on the inside. My blue dots on the other side, not a huge deal. I probably would have switched the 2 dots around, the blue dots over there, because you have one case that's just a hair lower. I'm really particular on how I build. It's such a slight lean that it's not horrible, but if you see going up your pallet, you tend to flare out just a hair. It's because of that hair of a smaller case on the outside corner. I would have switched it around. Other than that, I'm nitpicking maybe, I don't know. I think the middle column is a bad habit of doing that, stacking cases in this direction. Even though this pallet is really nice, it's just some of the stuff that I would have done differently. All right, guys, the last pallet I want to look at from Discord is this one right here. When you have canned goods, I want you to take time. I want you to take time to try to tie your pallet in. When you have all cans like this, pretty much all these cans line up with each other. You should be able to lock in these levels as much as possible. Where you see my white lines at, you pretty much have columns in here. You saved yourself with the slip sheet in the middle. That slip sheet definitely did you justice on this pallet. But you just want to try to get away from column stacking when you have a lot of the same size cases, or even cases that are just a little bit higher than another. You put the little bit higher case on the outside, you put the lower cases on the inside. And then on this picture right here, your pallet again, what I would have done differently down here is where my yellow dots are at. I would have faced those cases in. Remember, just a hair, like even if that case would have just rested on the middle case, it's just enough to take that distribution, that weight distribution, and move it to one side of the pallet to a little bit to the middle. So that's where my yellow dots are at. I would have turned those cases inwards. Your 3 blue dots, the same thing I talked on the last pallet. I do not like stacking in this. This looks like those French onion things, whatever they are, the onion, whatever. I would have used those for a corner. They're a bigger flat box. I would have used them for a corner. I like big flat boxes being on the corner facing in. Once again, you put cases like this in this part of the pallet. Look what you did. You forced yourself to have a small corner. Small cases on the corner, you have bigger cases in the middle. I would have swapped them out. I would have switched them around. And then up above where my orange dots are, right here, midway, right above your slip sheet, I got 2 orange dots there. Remember, when you have a high case and a low inside, and you want to try to get them even, well, put a small case here and a high case on the inside and try to get them even. I do that all the time. So when I have high-low, I try to equal them with a high-low on the swapping the cases around. So switch them around, trying to get them level. And the 2 arrows up above, once again, I like how you have your mayo pointing in, but the mayo in the middle is in that direction that I don't like. I truly mean it that when you put a big case facing this way in this part of the pallet on all 4 sides of the pallet, it just, I don't know. I mean, your pallet's square, it's nice, but it's definitely column stacked with a lot of weight. When you have weight like this, you want to get away from column stacking. Your slip sheet was a smart move. But other than that, it's a nice pallet. Just a few things that I wanted to talk about. All right, guys, so that's it for today. Just a few pallets I want to go over through Discord. And I hope you guys subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up, comment section below. And guys, if you could share my channel, I'd really appreciate it. Definitely trying to grow this channel. It's been going a little slow as of lately, and I hope to keep pushing forward. So if you guys can help me out, I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Have a great day.